Welcome. To another concert situation. I've been doing a few local concerts lately. My name's Charles Burney, by the way, if you haven't happened to notice it written on the screen. Done some local concerts. This is my first time doing one for a friend in Scotland. So we're going around the globe with this one. I'm pretty happy about that. I want to thank Joe Quinn for including me in this concert series that he's putting on. And I'm going to start off, got 6 songs I think we can fit into this half-hour period. I'm going to start off with a song called Sword of Vengeance, which is about some of my first hard lessons on Facebook, where I learned that it doesn't take much to get people upset. Very little indeed. So that's my song about that situation that unfortunately rears its ugly head way too often. Had no reason to question what they said. For all the things I've learned from all the stories I have read, till I saw through the anger in their eyes, made me see quite differently, much to my surprise. They can turn the tables, claim that they act in self-defense. Instead I see them turn into what they are against. Now I see the picture from the other side. They wield a sword of vengeance as they cross that great divide. They can't see how they stand against their cause. And when they're done, they take a bow and wait for the applause. Get better until they start to see the one who is a threat is not who it seems to be. They've got their guard up, they're looking for a fight. Instead they're losing allies as their enemies look right. Think that they will open eyes and make us understand. Instead they played the victim with that blood upon their hands. Now I see the picture from the other side. They wield a sword of vengeance as they cross that great divide. They can't see how they stand against their cause. But when they're done, they take a bow and wait for the applause. When we take the high road, we find a better way. Crawl down in the gutter, and that's where we're gonna stay. Now I see the picture from the other side. They wield a sword of vengeance as they cross that great divide. They can't see how they stand against their cause. when they're done, they take a bow and wait for the applause. Please hold your applause to the end of the show. I always hate it when people say that. It's so presumptuous. Okay, I'm doing something I never ever do for this particular show. I'm leaving my tuner on for just the first song. The reason for that is because when you put a capo on, it throws the tuning off just a whisker, and it's kind of nice to tune to the capo. But when I take the capo off, it's going to drop it down just a whisker. So I wanted to be able to tune it back up, and once I get it tuned up, we won't have to do this again for the rest of the show. I actually was going to do it with another guitar, but my other guitar strings are not good, so now I'm the way I like to play. I don't like anything on the head of my guitar. And there's a little something about me you might not have known. Man likes his guitar clean. I think Bob Taylor would also approve. Don't cover up the name. So that was Sword of Vengeance. Now I'm going to do one about a famous person. A famous guy who went through some hard times, that I came up with the idea that if he was in a different profession, it wouldn't have been the same. It's about Lance Armstrong. And I was thinking, if he were a rock star, none of that would have been a problem for him. So I wrote this little ditty. Lance Armstrong played guitar, he'd be better than the rest. Everyone would be impressed with his flying fingers. He would dress like no one's fool. Everything would be so cool, and we all would say he ruled as a mighty picker. If Lance Armstrong played guitar, his bike he would not ride. His drugs would be his guide on his magic journey. He'd be sold out where he played, or he'd be in the Hall of Fame, and we'd still respect his name and all his earnings. He wouldn't be dealing with the fix he's in. He wouldn't have people making trouble for him. He could use what help he needed just to play that way, and the world would feel it's okay, yeah. If Lance Armstrong played guitar, he'd be surrounded by rock fans. They'd be welcomed in his van, and how he'd love them. He'd love them back so hard that he would not get caught off guard. No DNA would tarnish his sense of rhythm. If Lance Armstrong played guitar, there'd be books about his style, but he'd flash his winning smile as he signed the ladies. He'd be a guitar god, you see. There'd be no one quite as free, and the critics would agree that he was the greatest. Wouldn't have people making trouble for him. He wouldn't be dealing with this fix he's in. He could use what help he needed just to play that way, and the world would feel it's okay, yeah. Lance Armstrong played guitar, it'd be different, that's for sure. The press would not deter his fame and glory. They'd embrace the life he'd led. he'd be like the Grateful Dead. Things would not have been said. It'd be a different story. Poor Lance. That resulted from a conversation I had with a friend of mine where we had a bit of a debate about that. You don't question his heroes. Here's a song about someone I used to know. You were the one that I knew, the one I could trust, the one I believed in. How could it all have come true? There'd be a time when you would be leaving. My whole world had come down around me. My heart was split in two. More and more I think of you. Less and less, more and more I think of you. Less and less. I thought that you were mine, but I didn't need the love you were faking. I said there'd come a time when I wouldn't find this hurt would be aching. Then right here before my eyes, I did what I said I'd do. And more I think of you. Less and less, more and more I think of you. Less and less. This healing that I'm feeling now has given me cause for hope. This new hand that I'm dealing from, I'm not at the end of my rope. This dark cloud has been lifted from me, and now all my skies are blue. And more I think of you. Less and less, more and more I think of you. Less and less. Just when I thought I was done, I found someone to brighten my spirit. I thought my song had been sung. There was no one around who could hear it. A new lover has come to find me, and I'm glad she's not like you. 'Cause more and more I think of you. Less and less, more and more I think of you. Less and more, more and more. Less and less, more and more, more and more. Less and less, more and more I think of you. This next one is caused me a little trouble. Let me give you the background story on this song. This is one of my favorite songs out of hundreds of songs. I wrote this when I was in a duo in California, and it was pretty well received out there. So much so that I had people tell me if it wasn't on my CD that they wouldn't buy it. And fortunately it was, so sold some CDs. Anyway, when I came back to Maine, my new wife, fiance at the time, my mom and my sister basically didn't approve of this song. And so it got shelved. I pretty much gave up on the song. It wasn't ready for New England, as it turns out. Well, time went by, and my wife was putting a collection of my stuff together for somebody, and she found the recording of this and thought this is a good song. I said, I thought you didn't like this song. Oh, she said it's a good song. I'm like, well, I'm taking it back then because I love this song. The song is written about meat, but it implies so much more. You're not just some piece of meat, you're my favorite cut by far. When I find a tender, juicy treat, I want a piece of what you are. To be with you, I cut it made as you're soaking up your marinade. Well, you'll never rain on my parade. You're my favorite cut by far. Oh, I don't need some cheap chuck roast. Oh, you're the one I want the most. Now let me make this tasty toast. You're my favorite cut by far. New York sirloin, London broil, well they can have them boiled in oil. The fact is, you've got me spoiled. You're my favorite cut by. That's because you're not just some piece of meat. You're my favorite cut by far. When I crave a tender, juicy treat, I want a piece of what you are. To be with you, I've got it made as you're soaking up your marinade. Well, you'll never rain on my parade. You're my favorite cut by far. Now I see that rump roast on your hips, your rack of ribs sporting your tri-tips, your natural juices on my lips. You're my favorite cut by far. When I reach for your wishbone, so well done I can't leave you alone. Got me cooking in a danger zone. You're my favorite cut by. That's because you're not just some piece of meat. You're my favorite cut by far. When I crave a tender, juicy treat, I want a piece of what you are. To be with you, I've got it made as you're soaking up your marinade. Well, you'll never rain on my parade. You're my favorite cut by far. No, you're not just some piece of meat, baby. You're my favorite cut by far. Isn't that a sweet little ditty? Always been one of my favorites. It's just about meat. That's all it is. Nothing wrong with that. This is an interesting song. This next one. This was written as a kind of a challenge song. A friend of mine has a song called "The Butterfly Effect," and he challenged us to write something along those lines. Right? Part of a group I was songwriting circle of friends, and I came up with this funny song called "The Clusterfly Effect" about us all getting together at this club where maybe they don't want us to be there until we leave, and played it one time. My friend said he was recording it because it was only played one time, but I like the tune, I like the guitar part, and I decided to use that for another song, which I often do that. And so this is a song about family situations when they don't turn out like we'd like them to be. Called Family Letdown. For anybody who's had a family that isn't Norman Rockwell level, I think most of us fall into that department and in that category in one way or another. This song's for you. On the wall, a family portrait smiling faces, one and all. Tells a story of the love that's shared between them. All the love you can't recall. Like a Norman Rockwell, capturing the moment, full of imagery, so damn devoid of sound. When family lets you down, it's not the way it's supposed to be. It's just the way it's turned around. When family lets you down, when family lets you down, when the thread that holds us close begins to fray and come unwound. These are people you'd have died for. Some you've known all your life. Mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters do their damage. Sons and daughters, husbands, wives. When you're finding out they're not as they pretended, and the ugly truth is starting to resound. When family lets you down, it's not the way it's supposed to be. It's just the way it's turned around. When family lets you down, when family lets you down, when the thread that holds us close begins to fray and come unwound. When family lets you down, when family lets you down, it's not the way it's supposed to be. It's just the way it's turned around. When family lets you down, when family lets you down, when the thread that holds us close begins to fray and come unwound. When the thread that holds us close, holds us close, holds us close. They can't all be happy, uplifting songs. Okay, speaking of happy, uplifting songs, we're going to end on an up note. My wife and I are sailors, and I was a lobster fisherman years before I was a sailor, and I've been on the water since I was a kid. My dad was a fisherman, and the ocean has just been incredibly important to me most of my life. And this is a song about, it's called On the Water. It's about people's love with boats and the water, and how some people don't understand us crazy, salty people. So, to end it off, I want to thank again Joe Quinn for including me in this, sending my music to Scotland and Lord knows where from there, and I can't be happier. Super nice guy, wonderful guy to know. And and so glad to be a part of this. As many of the people I know that are in this, there's a wonderful bunch of people out there playing their music, and it's an honor to be a part of them. So anyway, gonna end on this, On the Water. There are those who sail on mega yachts and those who sail for free. There are people pushing kayaks just to be out on the sea. But of all the ways to there float, one thing that I know, that I've got to get to water if it means I have to row. There are 3 things to remember when you head out from the dock. Keep the people in the water out and stay off of the rocks. If one of these goes wrong, it's sometimes hard to stay afloat. Still, there's nothing half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats. And when it's all going wrong and when the sea is in your face, even then you'd be hard-pressed to find a better place. For those who never went to sea may find it hard to understand that a bad day on the water beats a good day on dry land. There are those who like to put us down for what we have to spend. They say a hole in the water is not right for them. Well, they're happy staying in their homes and living life online. But I'd rather slip the mooring, leave that crazy world behind. They can all pile into their cars and fight their traffic jams. Sharing space with seals and porpoise, I'll stay right where I am. Well, it isn't right for everyone, for them I would agree. But the solitude contributes to how right it is for me. And when it's all going wrong and when the sea is in your face, even then you'd be hard-pressed to find a better place. For those who never went to sea may find it hard to understand that a bad day on the water beats a good day on dry land. And when it's all going wrong and when the sea is in your face, even then you'd be hard-pressed to find a better place. For those who've never been to sea may find it hard to understand that a bad day on the water beats a good day on dry land. The bad day on the water beats a good day on dry land. Well, I'm very happy to see that I have fallen within my half-an-hour period. You never want to go over what you're allotted. So I want to thank again Joe for having me be part of this. My name is Charles Bernier. I'm from Maine in the United States of America, and I hope to see you all again. Thank you so much.